If you could live green, would you? I'm Nick Federoff, host of Things Green, where we introduce nuggets of green lifestyle from gardening, upcycling, answering your questions, sustainability, even discussing environmental issues. You can become more confident in making the right decisions for you and your family. So come along as we are Things Green. Anybody home?
Yeah, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? Are you Jeff?
I am.
You come highly recommended.
Thank you. Well, welcome to our kingdom. This is the kingdom of rust.
No kidding. This is really awesome. I happen to have a really neat connection with old things. And I don't know whether those old things are antiques. I don't know if they have value to them. I have no idea. But I understand you're the guy who understands all that kind of stuff.
And what you can do with it to give it a brand new life.
And that's one of the reasons why we're here, because we do have an office studio that just doesn't reflect who I am. And I want to do a little bit of design work. And that's what really freaks me out a little bit, because I never really thought that there are people like you out there that can help guys like me who need the design aspect.
Right, and we can get you any place you want to be, in the middle, in the beginning, and at the end. So we can help you figure it out and build it as well.
Okay, so we're talking about old things as well as new things, right?
Correct. Old and new. Okay. Repurposed wood and new wood. All right. And we have some access to some of the most beautiful hardwoods in the world, and we make some beautiful new wood pieces as well out of that. You'll see a couple of them here in our showroom.
Well, as you can tell by my very eclectic look over here, I am an eclectic kind of guy. I do like the rustic aspect of things. I like flashy too. I like really nice things as well. I'm looking for a studio table. I'm also looking for our viewers here, because they would like to use things that are part of their garden art, but I also like the idea of bringing that art indoors as well. It's not just an outdoor thing, is it?
No, absolutely not. It adds a life and a vitality all to itself by bringing it indoors.
Okay, now as far as my personal thing, I happen to have farm implements. I'm very fortunate and blessed that I have a big piece of property. I live on a third of an acre. A quarter of an acre, take that back. Anyway, I've got a disc that's 6 feet wide that's in my yard. I've got a harrow. I have all this farm equipment that's pulled by real tiny tractors. So it's really kind of cute, but that's too big for bringing over here and what we're doing. But you have some really interesting things, and I understand you even go all over the world to get this stuff.
Without a doubt, 3 continents, Canada, Europe, and the US.
Wow. Well, the first thing that catches my eye as I walk in are the feet on this thing. What in the world is going on here? Is that a shoe?
Actually, it's a swan. It's the shape of a swan cut out of this. This is the most amazing piece. I bought this in Eastern Europe on a buying trip to Hungary and Eastern Europe. I found this, it came from Romania. It's from the mid to late 1800s. All beautifully handmade, beautiful formed, cast iron, hand painted, fleur-de-lis. Then these are the headboards, and equally beautiful.
Oh, it's a headboard.
And here's the footboards of it.
Okay, so these are for like twin beds?
Yes, twin beds.
Okay.
And then these are the sideboards. And what's kind of interesting about it, you know how bed slats, end up wooden slats going across the corridor. Yeah, look at these loops. Okay. And the instead of a wood slat, these actually are the metal loops that go through.
Oh, okay.
And I think what's special about this is the artisanship. I mean, nobody makes things like this anymore. Yeah. And I think that pays respect to your appreciation of things that are old. And my theory of why this business works is the world's getting to be very complicated. And I think that as you sit back and see these things, it reminds you of a time when it's simpler, and it links you to heritage, it might link you to family, it might link you to some of the farm implements, but we can kind of pay respect to your production studio, add little vignettes, and we do a lot of it, which is this whole area over here. So this piece right here is an old wheel that's part of a wine press that we bought in Europe as well, but it's so beautiful by itself, the shapes and the colors and the patterns. These are turn of the century milk, 1920s, 30s milk cartons and crates.
So this is an actual milk bottle that would have been period time for this particular crate.
Exactly right.
Okay,
probably early 1900s.
We filmed a TV show that aired and where we were churning butter, and it's a turn of a century churner device. I don't know what you call it. It's a bottle and all that.
Sure.
Anyway, so somebody on my team tells me, they says, it looks kind of dirty. We had to take some baking soda and clean it up a little bit. And I said, no, don't touch that. Absolutely not. So I see things here. I mean, there's no dust, but there's dust. So the question is that are we supposed to clean this stuff up? Are we supposed to take the rust off? What are we supposed to do with this?
There's several schools of thought, but mine is that the patina took years to create and age and become a natural extension of its antiquity. I think what you do is you clean, and when you clean, maybe you wipe it off. You might do water and soap. But in terms of taking the rust off and getting it back to new, that really kind of is the antithesis of what the whole thing is all about. It's really about the character of it, and it took years. I mean, look at this old railroad spike.
Yeah.
It was pulled out and it actually created a curve. How great is that?
That's pretty cool.
And notice how it's all hand forged. Metal went through, hammered, made one at a time.
That's really awesome. So let me pick on it. May I pick it up?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Doesn't look like anything can really break in here.
Actually, I have the best inventory in the world, and from any retail thing. The worse I treat it, the better it gets.
Well, I know that this is your corporate office, but you have a showroom that we're going to get to visit as well.
We do, absolutely.
Okay, so here is something that I would talk about on my radio show or here on the TV show, where we have a pitchfork, and it's got character because it's all,
That's right.
Kind of
a couple rocks have lost the battle on this one.
Yeah, exactly. So here we have it, and it has all its problems. Now, I would, if it was a newer tool, I would tell people how to preserve this handle.
So would I.
But in the way that it is right now, it's just, to me, I just want to hang it on a wall.
Yeah, it's perfect, and that's exactly. Matter of fact, that would be a great prop for your production studio as well. And as this wood ages, wood is one of our favorite things. We make a lot of things out of reclaimed wood, and you'll see some more in our showroom. But as wood ages, it's organic, and as it moves and exposes to heat and cold and water, it just gets these beautiful stress marks. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's already perfect.
Now this one right here looks like a tool that somebody made. This is not...
Yeah, I think it probably was, which is kind of cool, I mean,
and it looks like an early day hula hole of some sort.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And I think that one of the interesting things about the old tools, that's kind of one of our specialties, is when you look at them, you can really see how they evolved into new tools, because the guts of it is still the same. The process, the wheel, the turns, the way things are produced. And then you look at newer versions of it, and it's basically just a faster, quicker, motion-sensitive type of way of doing it.
Right,
but the roots are still the same.
What I want to do is I want to go way on the other side over there, because it looks like you've got some firewood. I don't get that. I don't get that. Okay, what's the story with all this firewood?
Well, actually, it's very high-grade firewood. It's parts and pieces from old tables, old chairs, old furniture. And what we do is we take this for interesting design projects, and we take these parts, we merge them with architectural details, and this becomes a fabulous display piece or candle holder or table piece.
So when you create this kind of stuff, and you're going to take this and you're going to, you know, put it on here, however, how drunk do you have to get to have it to put it all
Well,
together?
it works better with a couple glasses of wine. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, you'll see wine as a very big part of our business. It's represented in our other office here quite well.
So you're recycling and you're upcycling at the same time.
Right, and I think we're taking what's happening with all these old pieces, and we're just saying, it could be firewood, I mean, you're right, but it also could be something really magical. And you take this and you put a picture frame in here or a mirror, and then find an interesting leg and do it. So it's not so much about what it is, it's about what it can be.
So that's where the design aspect of the Jeff Mack comes in.
Absolutely.
Because you're thinking outside of the box. Now this actually is kind of talking to me a little bit, because you have some pots right over here and you've got things there. Is this something that you would have put together for a design?
Yeah, and actually this could be a vignette on an upper shelf or something even in your production studio. But basically old fruit crates, old urns, architectural pieces like we did over here. And when you merge them all together and do an interesting thing, this is an old movie studio light, but when you merge these things together, they do talk to you, you know, and it's a great look.
Okay, now I have to tell you what's talking to me. The second that I walked in over here, there's something about this a wagon here that's just calling my name.
Oh, I'm telling you, look at the colors in that.
I know, it's just gorgeous. So this is another example of something that we would not want to clean it up. Now, most people would think that would be trash, but I look at it and there's a lot of different things. You could just leave it like that, like you're doing right now. You have a sickle in here. Look at this. Look at this thing. This is a real sickle. Look at this. This is so cool.
We bought this from the Grim Reaper.
Obviously. This was a tool that they used to use for threshing wheat. They would use it in the fields, and they would just sweep back like this, and that thing would be razor sharp, and you sweep back like this to cut whatever it is that you're cutting. You use it for weed abatement or anything like that. This is an amazing piece. I'm so in love with this. But the way you had it displayed in here, I can actually see that out in the open. You could, and then of course put potted plants in there.
I was just going to say,
yeah.
Can you imagine this with great succulents in a garden landscape kind of environment?
Amazing.
And with the colors, I think it would be fabulous.
All right, so we're going to let the Green Reaper put that away. And hopefully it's not going to chop my foot off. But you have another room over there that's also calling me. You have a lot of fun stuff that's there.
Great. Well, this is our decorative room, and this is sort of the rough and rugged, and this is a fancier, a little more upscale kind of things. And if you notice, you mentioned that our designs get better with wine. You can see how much liquor is represented in here.
Oh, how interesting.
we
now, I'm a teetotaler. I got to let everybody know that. Okay. That's important for me.
But what we think is sort of that the whole environment of wine is a great platform for a lot of our designs, and you'll see some things we're doing with it.
Okay, so then I see some really other interesting things here. These radios, they're definitely calling my name because I have a radio background. When you get things like this, are they typically broken or are they working?
These are a little on the rougher side. We have had ones that are working and are newer and, kind of in more pristine condition. This probably, some of this will go away and be replaced with something else, maybe a clock, maybe a mirror, but it's all part of our repurposed point of view.
Okay, and I see that you also have some dried material there as well. So plant material is important as part of your design aspect.
Yeah, and if you look at the way the colors and the height and the vertical, it just tends to coordinate things and transition things from space to space.
Okay. What I don't understand is that, you could see certain things, but how do you know what the value of these certain things are? If I go to a garage sale or if I go to an antique place, how do you know what's what and what isn't?
Well, I think the big thing in terms of value is that there is no set thing. You can take the same item to 3 or 4 different places, and each place would have a different valuation for it. Go to a high-end antique store, it might be $100. Go to a garage sale or an estate sale on the right day, $10. But it kind of varies. In our way of looking at it, we try and buy the materials that are the most interesting to us from a design standpoint. But what we try and do is buy them in a way that we can put them back together with something else and not have the price be prohibitive.
I'm pretty sure this is one of those drunken stupors that he got together with. Puts a whole new world. Instead, he's got the whole a whole world in his hands. He's got the whole foot as.
Well, I call this particular work of art getting a foot up in the world.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of fun. Okay, you were going to show me something else.
Yeah,
right?
I wanted to show you how these parts and pieces go together. Here's a beautiful piece of driftwood I found on a buying trip to Northern California. Stopped and hit the Big Sur area and found this on the shoreline. So I grabbed it. I thought it had potential. These are authentic antique glass domes. These domes came from lights and chandeliers from the 20s and 30s.
How do I know it's from the 20s and 30s, though?
It's knowing the sort of the details of it, the type of glass. It's kind of a subjective thing. You know, it's hard to come completely to the exact date. You know, you can't carbon date this stuff. But basically it's from the period. This is very Art Deco looking, which kind of put it to the 20s.
Yeah, because if I was to take something like this, I'm thinking, well, other than the color of it, I'm thinking, well, I can get this over at the local 5 and dime.
Right. But you'll get a reproduction version of it in some form or another. These are the real deal. They're really older pieces. I just wanted to show you how you might take some of these elements. And here's this beautiful piece of driftwood. If you cradle this old antique vintage light and add a candle, how cool is that? Even has sort of a water lily kind of a look to it.
I understand that you have a shop that's not far from here.
Right up the street.
Oh, nice. That I'm looking forward to seeing. You've got a lot of stuff out there that's, I understand, is really going to knock my socks off.
You'll like
and then
it.
You're going to have to help me out with a table. I got to get a table. Well, it seems to me here, Jeff, we have hit the mother lode.
This is the holy grail of our business right
How
here.
cool is this? I can get lost over here so easily.
This is one of the wow pieces. It's a corn sheller from Eastern Europe converted into a table.
Nice. And you said Eastern Europe you got this thing?
Eastern Europe.
Wow. Wow. All right, we got some barn door activity.
One of our best items, and everybody loves them. They're barn doors. They slide and create dividers.
Those are really coming back into style.
Or you can turn them sideways, and they make a pretty decent headboard as well.
Oh, that's a really good point. So when we're doing this kind of stuff, we're thinking outside of the box, kind of like with that mirror right there.
And the mirror is our special item. That's a railroad tie split in half and converted to a stand-up mirror. And you even see the original holes from the nail spikes and stuff that were pounded through.
Oh, it could have came from that spike that you showed us.
That spike could have been part of this.
Oh, cool.
Matter of fact, maybe it still should be. We could add a hook for your hat.
Okay, so even though we're here at the King Richard's Antique Mall in Whittier, this right here, Urban Salvage Company, this is you.
It's us.
Look for the sign and we're there. So this kind of stuff looks like it's different than from what we looked at over there.
This is architectural salvage. It's old building parts and primitive kind of things that are done.
Okay.
A wine press from Eastern Europe,
Okay.
used to create the wines and stuff one batch at a time.
Now this is very familiar to me. This is something my grandfather would have had on the farm.
Without a doubt.
He had it on the barn, so you could just take that and slam it down over a piece of, whoa, hold on there.
Ooh, almost took you out.
And grab some bale of hay to bring it up into the barn. And look, you have something giant over here. This is a cupola. Yeah. So this
From
must
the top of a barn would actually be the decorative ornament that went through the top.
Is this the kind of stuff you put indoors or outdoors?
Well, this would probably be an outdoor piece, but generally it goes both ways, but probably a little more indoors.
Okay. We have more firewood over here. I mean, architectural stuff.
Exactly.
But you know what's interesting? If you have a table leg that died and you want to save and keep it, you could rummage through here and you could probably find what you're looking for matched up pretty close.
We have hundreds of them. So.
Yeah, nice. All right, so we have more things. Look at this.
Beautiful stained glass window from New York.
Man, someone had put a lot of time into that.
Yeah, beautiful piece.
And you know that to bend that wood like that, it's just almost impossible.
Old columns and new posts.
Good. Now I understand this area over here is a little bit more refined.
This we call decorative, and this is where you find those great accent pieces that you can use in your home, your dining room, your living room, a more formal kind of setting.
Wow, hey, what is this thing? This is one of those pumpy thingies.
Yeah, this is an old antique blacksmith bell.
Wow.
Yeah, this came from Montana.
I would love something like that.
Isn't that great?
That is really awesome. Oh, this right here, here's something you don't know about me, but I have a small area in my office, and I call it my museum. and it's no bigger than like a 4x8 area. I have all kinds of antique and smalls like these. Well, all kinds of different things, from calculators to, that's what this is on a modern, not a modern day, but an old school calculator, if you may, to just typewriters, lots of typewriters. That's really neat. So these little smalls here, these are the things that people can take. Like, look at this thing right here. I mean, how beautiful is this?
Yeah, it's an old cake pan.
Yeah, and somebody
All handmade.
painstakingly put all this whole thing together. My mother actually has something like this sitting on her table.
It's a great, everybody did, or the vanity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the vanity. That's what it was originally. There was a brush and a comb.
Exactly.
And even, I think, a little tiny handheld mirror.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Now, that right there, that's pretty interesting.
This is my favorite piece. This is an old Schumann antique piano that we cut apart and reconfigured to form a wine rack. Here's this place to hang your stems, your work and prep area, and then all your bottles down below with the original pipe organ parts.
Now,
Great piece.
Did you do that because you're tone deaf, or because you don't?
You know, being in the LA area, I figured that some musician is going to have this. So, Billy Joel, who knows?
Yeah, you definitely don't know. And we're continuing on over here, aren't we?
Right.
Okay.
And this is our first love. You know, when we first started our business, this is everything that we did. Now we do a lot of other aspects to it too, but this is old Western and primitive, cabin and agricultural.
You know, I could hang out here.
I think
like
this is
nothing
your
else.
world right
I
here.
think so. Here, look at now. Mrs. Things Green, she harnesses me up in one of these all the time, and puts the ring around the nose and puts me wherever I
I
gotta
got
go.
the chain to hook you up so she can keep you stationary for a while.
Aren't you the kind one, dude? You're supposed to be on my team over here. All right, so look at this little cedar here. This has got to be one of the originals.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece, probably the 20s or 30s.
Very, very cool. Man, oh, listen, you have a nice little drum going on there.
That's right.
So the things you have going on here is amazing.
And then in your world, you probably would enjoy this. It's an old 1930s, 1940s hedge trimmer.
Nice, look at that. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how many fingers this? No.
Yeah, I think it still needs some care.
I actually have one of these, and it's a smaller version with one handle. We might have two handle, and you hook it up to a drill, and you use it that way. So it's really pretty cool as far as that's concerned. I'm going to look at that thing, and man, I'm going to get lost in here. I just, again, I thank you for showing me all this stuff. I understand that you picked out a table for my studio.
I think we got you covered.
I have a colleague that always asks me, what's new? When it comes to the Things Green Botanical Gardens, he's going to find out we did a little sustainable decorating. We secured this ornate slab of wood from a fallen tree, and instead of making firewood out of it, there was enough foresight to see the beauty in it. Jeff's crew gingerly brought it upstairs, which wasn't an easy feat because of how ornate it is, and boy, is it ever heavy. Now for a base to hold it up. It needed to be something that popped, something that's a polar opposite of wood and yet is uniquely sustainable and will complement the decor. Did you know metal is a recyclable resource that can be used over and over? Now that's sustainability. At Kohl's Metals, nothing goes to waste. So that's my go-to place for this base. Kohl holds on to some metal from the past projects that they do and recycles what they don't need. We found some U-shaped metal that worked for the legs. After they cut it down to size, we needed to stabilize it. Kind of make a table for a table. This has to be done right, as it's going to be the legs for the wood slab, well, basically forever. I did a little dumpster diving and found the perfect size metal to cut into plates with amazing precision on a laser cutter. It even drilled the screw holes at the same time. Now the welders did their magic by tacking, squaring up, then welding it. For tickles, I asked them to weld feet on the bottom, which they cut or sheared the metal on a huge machine with pinpoint accuracy. We brought the legs to the Things Green Botanical Gardens and gave it a couple of coats of paint. Look how the wood and metal complement each other. And like I said, it'll last forever. That's sustainability.